Hey Stitch Cutie, I'm Brittany with Stitches of Love Quilting, and it's day 147 of Stitch 365. And today I'm going to answer the question of, can you color your hand embroidery project after it's already stitched? And I'm happy to report that the answer is yes, 100%. I've tested it myself several times, and I'm going to tell you about that. So if you did our Spring in the Hoop stitch along, you can always go back and access those video tutorials. When you go to springinthehoop.com, it'll take you to that specific playlist. But what we had you do is do all of your coloring and then your hand embroidery work after you colored the project. But what if you're not wanting to trace that design first, but you want to use the sulky stick and stitch? Well, you can't very well color first and then put this over it, because that would just be a bear to line up. So when you have a project and you use your sulky stick and stitch, you do all of your stitching and dissolve your pre-printed sulky stick and stitch away, and what you're left with is your stitching. So as you can see in yesterday's video, I dissolved this and this didn't have any of the color on. So what I did is colored after the fact. So I used, I think, maybe 8 or 9 colors. I used the Prismacolor colored pencils, and I went back and colored after the fact, and it did not affect my stitching at all. You can see I did shading around the boot, kind of make them worn on the toes, a little dirty on the heels. Well, not dirty, but you know, shaded on the heels. I did a light pink inside these flowers. I did purple on the outside, and you use the exact same method you would as if you hadn't stitched yet. You use your blending stump and you pull the color in to give that shading. You can see I did around the umbrella. I did all around the snail. I do need to add my little buttons for my snail. This isn't finished yet. But you can see it was no problem at all to color after the fact, which made me so happy, because that means I can still use my dissolvable stabilizer, that sulky stick and stitch, when I'm working on a hand embroidery project, and eliminate that tracing step. So I hope that answers your question, and happy stitching.